It is January. We're talking about new year, new us, the excitement from pre-Christmas and that feeling that the year has faded. Well, we're left with January, aren't we?
January is renowned for being the most depressing month of the year. It's probably because it goes for about 254 days.
It does.
And the lack of sunshine and vitamin D in the UK doesn't help.
Yes, but it turns out over a third of Brits are actually in the dark about vitamin D and how it's not just January when we should be taking those supplements.
Joining us now is GP from the Health and Food Supplements Information Service, Dr. Nisa Aslam. How are you?
Very good to see you this morning. So as Brits, are we actually deficient in vitamin D? Should we be doing something to get more in our system?
So absolutely. So our new report that we've published on the HSIS website reveals that, yes, we are deficient as a nation. And as you said, Peter, it's because we rely on sunlight to make vitamin D in our skin. And we don't get much sunlight in the UK, particularly in the winter months. So that's a big barrier to forming vitamin D. You can get vitamin D from certain foods, so oily fish, eggs, but as a nation, again, we don't love eating oily fish, so again, that's a barrier to getting enough vitamin D. So as Brits, we are prone to a deficiency, particularly in the winter months.
And what about the talk constantly about you have to wear sun cream all the time and, you know, put factor 50 on your face if you're going outside? Does that stop some of the vitamin D coming in? I know that, you know, sun creams work, but is there a period of time, a few minutes, that you shouldn't have anything on to get the vitamin D? Does it deter?
So I think the research is quite mixed, actually. So some papers suggest that actually it makes no difference, and then other research suggests that actually sunscreen does block vitamin D production in the skin. Personally, I think sunblock does prevent the production of vitamin D in the skin. But I think SPF is really important, and I always advise people to wear it every day because you want to minimise the risk of premature ageing, skin cancer. So you must wear your SPF every single day. So
if you are somebody that, say, can't afford certain foods that are rich in this, supplements, is there, you know, some can't afford supplements, what would you recommend for somebody that doesn't really know what to do and it's winter time and they're not eating the right foods and they're not, you know, full vitamin D? What do you recommend? So try to have foods that are rich in vitamin D. So that's things like oily fish. And the government does recommend that we have 2 portions a week. But not everyone enjoys the taste of oily fish.
What would an oily fish be, like a mackerel?
So like mackerel, salmon.
Oh, I love salmon, that would be all right. So you like salmon as well, we'll be fine. Yeah.
So salmon's OK, but then mackerel, I don't know, I don't really love the taste of it. So then it comes back to taking a multivitamin, multi-mineral, and vitamin D. So it depends on the dose of vitamin D that you have in the multivitamin. So if it's 10 micrograms, which that's the official guidance in the UK, then you're fine. Otherwise, you should take a separate vitamin D supplement.
What about prawns? Do prawns count as an oily fish? I love prawns too.
I don't think they have sufficient vitamin D. No. So it's really things like salmon, mackerel.
We need to be making that effort. OK.
Yeah.
OK, what about, sorry, I have to ask this, the old school generation, mum and dad. Dad's watching again from Australia. Hi, Dad. So, you know, they're not keen on supplements and things like that.
And they wouldn't have taken them, would they?
And they're like, what, you know, how are you going to get a vitamin in this hard capsule? How do we sort of break that stigma as well?
I think maybe looking at the numbers. So we know that a third of Brits are deficient in vitamin D, so we have seriously low levels. And I think perhaps thinking about the health risks. So if you have low vitamin D levels, you know, as a GP, I see people coming in with lots of symptoms, vague symptoms, so fatigue, low energy levels, loss of hair, low mood. So I think convincing people that if you want to feel good within yourself, then taking a supplement is the way forward. And also minimising the risk of serious health conditions. So with severe deficiencies, you can end up with bone conditions.
Right.
And that increases the risk of things like fractures. So I think if we think about mitigating those risks, then really supplements are the way forward, in addition to a healthy, balanced diet.
OK. So for people who get very overwhelmed by vitamins and supplements, and by people I mean me, we had our producer Sophia this morning. She got out all of her vitamins on the desk in front of her, and she's got supplement pouches and all these vitamins stacked up. I wouldn't even know where to start. So for people who are just very overwhelmed by the whole thing, what would your #1 takeaway be just to feel healthy?
So it is overwhelming. Honestly, it's overwhelming. And I myself have all my supplements lined up and I forget to take them. So I think keep it basic, get a multivitamin, get a multi-mineral, and make sure that it has enough vitamin D in it. If it doesn't, buy a separate vitamin D supplement. Omega-3s are also good to
Yes,
have
I hear about
because they're
this.
anti-inflammatory. They're found in oily fish, so we don't consume enough through food. And they're really, really good for brain health, heart health. So go for an omega-3. And then probiotics, you may have heard of them. You know, the good bacteria and fungi in our gut. They're really important for gut health, but also to help lift your mood, to have a robust immune system. So go for a good probiotic. So multivitamins, multiminerals, vitamin D,
Love all that.
omega-3.
It's still a long list.
It's a long list.
Okay, what about if you just went outside, even though it's winter, even though it's cold, you encourage people to get outside, will that help as well?
Do you know, I, as a GP, want people to go outside,
Yeah.
experience nature.
I think
It's
that's
good for your mental health, just
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at greenery. So absolutely do it. Be safe, put your SPF on. You know, it's not clear how much sunlight you need to make enough vitamin
right.
D. So do go out in nature, but do wear your SPF.
OK, really, really good advice there. Thank you, Dr. Nisa.
Or do
Really
what Karen
good to
did and
see you
move
this
to
morning.
Dubai.
Or move to Dubai. That's always an option, but wear your SPF.
Yeah.
Wear SPF, absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Nisa. Really good to see you.